Hi guys, and welcome to Marketing in the Madness, but a very special edition which is starting right now. It is the live content that we have recorded as part of our partnership with Shoptalk Europe at Shoptalk in Barcelona with some of the most innovative leaders across the world of retail. And oh my goodness, can I tell you, there are 10 amazing people that I've interviewed in this series. We've got Holland & Barrett, we've got Mars, we've got Fabletics, and so many more. I'm not going to give them all because I want you to listen to find out. And you are going to love every single one of these episodes. They are full of insights on the future of retail, and I'm just so excited to bring them to you. So without further ado, let's go and meet some of our guests from Shoptalk Europe.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So, Susanne and Maren, I have two of you today, a double act for the podcast. I love it when this happens. I haven't had one like this for a little while. So we're going to get straight into the episode because the episodes we're recording at Shoptalk are a bit shorter than normal. So we're going to dive into the magic straight away. But before we do that, can I ask you both to introduce yourself and what you do at Jägermeister?
Sure. First of all, I think for the both of us, thank you for having us. It's such an amazing opportunity, also live here at the event. I'm Susanne, where I work for Jägermeister in the role as a global team lead for website and e-commerce. And what we do is set up a framework for the website for an eComm so that the markets can do their best work.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us here. It's such an honor. I'm Maren Gauss. I'm in Susanne's team for 3 years already, and I'm on the product management side of things. So I'm taking care of the further development of the website. I'm interacting with the markets, and yeah, that's what I'm doing. Picked up on a couple of other topics like search engine optimization and website accessibility, but yeah.
Amazing. I'm really excited to delve into this. Now, what the listeners don't know is that I did get a bit of secret insight last night because you lovely ladies came to an event and spoke about some of this at the event last night, which we hosted. And also, I got to sample some fantastic Jägermeister cocktails that we had made for us, which I personally chose. I tasted all of the Jägermeister cocktails that you sent us and, of course, chose my favourite. But what I want to focus on today is the huge digital transformation journey that you guys have been on and are on. And I think what's kind of interesting is, you know, from an FMCG brand point of view, that big shift that's happened recently going, you know, where lots of brands who typically have always, you know, gone through, you know, on-trade partners or on-trade and off-trade partners like big supermarkets and retailers, and then of course, you know, the stuff that you're doing with the bars, the restaurants, the clubs that you also sell through. But there's been a big shift in, you know, focusing more on D2C, and of course you guys have had to transform, change. You've got, I think there's a real interesting kind of collaboration of what you're bringing together through the club. Look, that you're developing this loyalty. You've got your own e-commerce website. So yeah, it'd be great. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but it'd be great to understand exactly what you're doing and what's kind of driven the charge for you guys as a business.
What you just mentioned is like our North Star where we want to, you know, go to, because when it's all connected and the consumer doesn't differentiate between, you know, the club experience and Jägermeister online, it should become one. But obviously that's a long way to go. And where we stand at the moment, or maybe even better, where we are coming from, is Jägermeister is a historically grown brand, and the website is live in 18 markets. And up to 2 years ago, there were 18 different markets live with pretty much 18 different web stacks behind it. And we started out with globalizing this in order to take advantage of, you know, a unified system, because when every market is doing their own, there are cost efforts, resources behind it that doesn't really make sense to have it on such a local level. So we put in the global structure behind it. We have the global framework set up now, working with Contentful and Shopify as a very strong base, and enable the markets now to, you know, work with solutions that are already there, that the market's developed on their own and then is accessible for everything. So it came more out of almost like a technical need. But now that we, cleaned up during the last couple of years, we are now in the stage that we can really leverage it. So all the global campaigns that are coming in, we can just, push them through, take the work away from the markets in a way that we, service them much more and really cater to the needs, that it's less effort, to translate every single campaign onto the markets, but rather have, already a digital solution ready for them. And this is what we've been working on for the past couple of months. And currently we are right in the middle after relaunching the website. Now we are taking more and more shops onto the system and just taking full advantage of the setup. And maybe also to understand it a little more, a little like peek into Jägermeister as a company. I think the brand is quite well known, or at least most of the time when we say we are from Jägermeister, people are like, Prost, let's go to the bar and, take a shot and tell us great stories about their student lives. But we are actually so much smaller than people realize. Like on a global level, we are a little over 1,000 people, most of them based in Germany and the headquarter. But we as a team were looking, after the website, after e-commerce as a whole. Like Maren said, there's accessibility in there, that's search engine optimization. There's like really a lot of topics, and we are 3 people. There's just, one person missing here, and we try to do so much. So it really shows that we need effective systems and good workflows in order to, do all those things.
Yeah. Well, the technology doesn't replace people to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
But it does enable you to do a lot more when you have the right technologies in place. And I think that was interesting for me to understand how and why you chose, what was the process to go through to get you to the point where you chose Shopify and Contentful?
Yeah. But we looked at a lot of different systems, and we came down with like a catalog of requirements, and basically it was ease to use and scalability behind it. And that's where we kind of quickly landed on the 2 systems.
Yeah. I mean, they both have innovation at their core. And I work with both. So I know, we help them do their marketing. And I know culturally they both have a really lovely, they're just nice people to work with, which also helps as well. I think when you've got, a good team behind and that's helping drive these things forward. So let's delve in a bit more to the kind of day to day and the reality of bringing this to life. I know you have a talk about the 5 biggest mistakes of relaunching. And doing this digital transformation, because I know there'll be lots of people listening that, are on this journey themselves, that are either, looking and analyzing the right platforms for them to use. What would you say to a listener who's on this journey? What are the things that you learned from the 5 biggest mistakes you made along the way?
Well, one of the biggest one I would like to single out is to, the mistake would be not to respect the company culture. Because I started with Jägermeister 4 years ago, and that's also when we, digged into relaunching the website and how should it look. And you have to understand that Jägermeister is a high quality product, and our quality department, the people in the factories, like just making the liquid, they're so detail-oriented people, because there's so many quality checks until the bottle hits the shelves. I mean, it's just insane. And so you have this like highly curated process, the single steps, the love to detail. And then we are coming in and say, hey, let's do an MVP. Let's just, throw something out there and try how the user reacts. It was really challenging. Let's put it like that. So it's, in retrospective, I would be maybe a little more delicate with certain phrasings, and especially understanding, where the people are coming from. And what helped in the end was not only going in with, we do the leanest approach possible, but more than we have something out there and we are always able to add. And because it's not a finished product that as soon as it hits the shelf, it stands there and always has to be like it. But on the digital space, we can always add something. We can take something down. We can experiment. And that was then the moment that opened the door and made people a lot more easy with what we wanted to accomplish.
I think that's so true. It's, also getting everyone on board. We that kind of stakeholder management process when you're doing a project like this, getting everyone involved so that they feel they're part of the journey and they're not scared or, people on the whole don't always enjoy change. So making them feel like they're part of that, they can see the benefits, they've been involved with it rather than it just being thrown upon them. I think that also tends to help, certainly when I've been involved with these kind of larger digital transformation projects.
Absolutely. And obviously, we'll also listen to the other podcasts of you and always what you say, the human to human approach. It always comes down to that. And that's it.
Yeah, we echo on that. Anything else? There were 5 things, weren't there, I think? Maren, anything else that you learned along the way?
I can talk a little bit about the challenges that we actually faced when we relaunched the whole website.
Yeah.
So
let's go there. We never talk about that. We always talk about the successes. We don't talk about the challenges. Yeah. So I think let's go into the challenges.
Actually.
Yeah.
Because, we relaunched the entire website, the global website plus the market websites last year in September. And it was 18 markets in total. And 4 of them actually also got a shop launch. So, and we did this all within 1 month. So we needed to be very efficient. We really had to, use our time wisely in order to, bring this whole project to life and also make it in time because our old website was sunsetting. So we hadn't really had a chance to extend it. We had to get something on the streets and to go live with the website. So, we needed to be efficient. That was like one challenge because I think at one day we launched like 3 different brand websites. I think that was like the maximum, 3 different countries. Then of course communication is key, especially if you work with so many different markets together. But also then, as Susanne already touched upon before, you also have to communicate a lot internally, with the different stakeholders. So this is always key. Be efficient in your communication, be clear enough in your communication. Don't come to the point and, just in order to, be efficient and use, don't waste each other's time and, things like this. So actually the third biggest challenge that we faced was always, the question in our head was, what happens when we fail? What can go wrong? And we actually had a very good worst case scenario prepared for that. So actually Susanne, she's the brain when it comes to something like this because it was actually her idea to come up with that. No, but she came up with the idea that our worst case scenario is having the global website fully prepared, everything in English, and then just push it out to the markets. And if they are not let's say committed enough, or don't have the time to translate the website into their local language, they just go live with the English version of the website. But they will for sure have a website available, they for sure go live. And that felt so good. And it was such a relief to know that the worst case scenario is actually still pretty good, So, that was, but yeah, it's always a challenge if you have it in the back of your head, this failure, thing, this anxiety to fail, but we couldn't really, because we were prepared for it.
I also think sometimes the mistakes that you make, actually, you learn so much from them. Once you've done something one way, once, it doesn't tend to happen again. But it sounds like because you'd done your research, you'd picked the right partners, you'd spent time picking the technologies that were going to work for you, like Contentful and Shopify, you were in a really good space to move forward. Now, obviously I know what everyone was interested in last night, and we had some amazing other brands in the room from other drinks brands, but also various other retailers, obviously, because we're at Shoptalk. And one of the big things that came through was around how you guys are utilizing the personalization within Contentful. Of course, you cannot get through a podcast nowadays without talking about AI, but how is that helping you in terms of, new product launches, any like events? What's the reality of personalization? Because I think, again, we all talk about personalization. We all think everyone's doing it, but actually a lot of the time, not as much is happening as we think. So I'd love to know the practicalities and how you're starting to implement personalization into the platform.
Yeah. I think especially when it comes to a brand that's happening a lot in retail, in the outlets out there, it's crucial to have personalization on the platform and in the shops. So that's also what we started with. We started personalizing our bottle, for example. So right after the launch, because we knew how important it is, we started developing a template designer. And so that actually customers are having the chance to print their own photo or image on a bottle and personalize the bottle that way. We also launched engravable bottles. So it's actually possible to engrave a bottle with your name or a personal message. It's actually very nice for gifting occasions, I believe. So this was something we're looking into very early in the beginning already, because we knew how important it is. And it actually paid off. We launched it in Germany now, the personalization tool, and we're gonna roll it out to the UK at the moment. So hopefully they're gonna launch it soon as well. And it's been a great success. The personalized bottle is actually the most sold in Germany online. So apart from merch, and yeah, it's been a great success. We also in the past launched many limited editions, which is online exclusive. So I think in general, in order to increase the sales on your website and your shop, you have to have things that are only available online and not in retail. So last year, for instance, we also launched our Pantone edition. So we had a global collaboration with Pantone. It's I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but they develop unique color codes, and so we have now our two own personal Jägermeister color codes, herbal green and culture orange, and we created a very nice packaging around it and sold it as an online exclusive, and also limited. So this works very well online. In the future, I could imagine that we're also going more into personalized content. That we can target the right consumer, the right user with content that actually fits their needs, their requirements. And this is what we've been doing and what we want to look into in the future.
It's really cool, and it's actually really smart, because I don't know if I've told you ladies this, but I actually used to work for a drinks brand, Pernod Ricard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I used to work for Pernod Ricard years ago. Feels actually quite scary to say this, 20 years ago. But then it was really hard for us as brands, because websites weren't as much of a thing then. Social, actually, when I first started there, Facebook didn't even exist. That's how long ago it was. But in terms of how we used to be able to market the brands, it was tough, because we didn't want to be taking sales away. It was seen to be that we were taking sales away from the retailers, or we couldn't be seen to be underpricing them, overpricing them. We had to stick to the recommended retail price. And actually, what I think you've done is you've enabled stuff on your website that is very different to what they're going into Sainsbury's or Tesco's or wherever, whichever place they decide to go and buy their product from. What they're getting with you is something much more personal, much more unique. It's it's strengthening the brand rather than competing against the retailers that are selling the products for you as well. So I think it's an interesting approach that you guys have taken to doing something quite different on your website. I was actually going to ask you around that. which are the most popular parts of the site? Like, obviously, I'm sure that you're tracking and looking at things. Like, do you see certain, obviously, we used the website yesterday to make the cocktails, to get the recipe. Like, what is it people are often looking for? Are they coming to create the personalized things? Are they coming to look for where to buy the product? Are they coming to just be inspired? It'd be great to understand what kind of trends you're starting to see, certainly with the new website.
People come to our website for like many different reasons. We have a strong heritage. So also like getting to know the brand, just interacting with the brand in general. I think this is something that many people, I think, actually out there are underestimating what strong fan base Jägermeister as a brand actually has, So this is like the one pillar, I would say. Then people for sure are coming to like the German website in general to buy products, like merch items, personalized bottles, because this is something you can't get in retail. So we created this unique selling point somehow, to be like a little bit more outstanding and like differentiate ourselves a little bit from like the shops, the retail.
Also because times are changing a lot, and there was the era of, I would say, blogs and like magazine style websites where you just browse through in order to inform yourself. I think all that is happening now on other platforms, and really put eComm in the center of the new website. It's not visible yet in every market because not every market is operating with the shop, but basically it's the drive to the shop, because we also think like, why would you visit a website just to pass the time? Nobody is bored nowadays anymore. You have social media for that. And when somebody comes in the website, they are Jägermeister fans. They are more like the hardcore people, I would say. And that's what we are catering to. And this also is where the beauty of the limited edition comes to shine, because the real fans, they are scattered all over, the countries, the globe, and online make it available for all of them rather than have it in retail. And you have to be, very lucky to live in the one city or two cities or be at the, airport where this limited edition is launched. So it's just more of being the center for Jägermeister fans, like the hub, and cater to the needs of those fans. And yes, it's a limited edition. It is also, some people are very interested in the heritage of Jägermeister. I think because it's like a very natural part of our being. It's nothing that we, had to invent or make up to create a story, because it's just really in there for years and years. And this makes it also fun and easy to communicate it.
What I love about everything that you guys have just said is how you're designing the website for the right people, for your consumers, for your fans, understanding why people are going to the website and who's going to the website, and therefore designing it around that. Because like you say, people do a lot of the exploratory stuff will happen on socials. So it is really your, hardcore Jägermeister fans that are visiting, or people that are interested in the brand or want to create something for family or friends that's a bit more personal. So yeah, it's really simple. Sounds simple, but so many people get that wrong. And I think that's been a really smart move.
Maybe just also to add on it, before we relaunched the website, we did some digging customer research about what do people expect behind it. So it's not totally random. And one basic finding was also that people are very interested in the recipes. And honestly, I thought it was like too easy or too out there. But it actually, we embedded it because of the response that we got from the research. And then again, we have it on the global website because we know people are interested in, and we see it in the data behind. And then the single markets can choose if they want to push it also live, or if they want to go all the way through with the one-shot strategy and rather, keep it for, another month or so.
Well, I think the website obviously enables you to simplify your go-to-market strategy across regions, right? And I guess that a lot of it is powered by the Contentful technology.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. It just makes it easier, and it's like a clickable thing rather than what used to be something that would take a long, long time. So I think that's a big game changer. Now, I'm going to go on to a totally separate subject, but you both have referenced it, and therefore I'm really interested. So not talking so much about the technology for a second, but I want to know more about the history of the Jägermeister brand, because I think a lot of our listeners maybe don't know the full story. So are you able to give I know it's probably a long thing to explain, and we didn't get to this last night either, but I just think would be lovely. Like, what is the heritage of Jägermeister, how the brand was born? Are you able to give us a little bit of insight?
Jägermeister goes back to the 1870s, and Kurt Mast, he was a very passionate hunter, and came out of family. They did vinegar, and he wanted to do something different. And with the passion for hunting, he wanted to have something to toast after a successful hunt, and so he developed the Jägermeister with the whole theme around it. And you can see the label, it has a stag on it. It comes from hunting. The poet around it is something that when you do your hunting license, you actually have to know by heart. And the entire label was also done with an artist from Brunswick, so very close to the whole area. And today, still, it's still within the family's hands, the business. So dating back all those years, always being family owned. The next person, I think, was Günther Mast, and he just made the brand very big. We had the first we were the first trickle sponsors within German soccer, which was a huge success. And since day one, we were always very, very close to culture, which still translates onto the days today. Like Maren talked about the Pantone campaign that we are having. We are very close to urban culture with our lesbian bar project. So it's always very close to the zeitgeist from very much back in the days till today.
We've talked about the heritage. Now I want to come back to talk about the future a little bit before I let you go and enjoy the rest of the show. So, of course, you've got these fantastic tech platforms now in play. What's next? What are you looking forward to? What are you excited about the future? Obviously, we're here at a retail tech show. So, yeah, what's on the agenda for Jägermeister?
I mean, we have a couple of projects in the pipeline.
Nice.
We are I shouldn't really talk about it in detail, but what we want to do in the future is going from a more opinion-driven approach to a data-driven approach. Because what we're doing at the moment, what I'm doing in my daily work is we just assume things more and less rely on data. And this is definitely something that I personally want to change in the future, just to have even a better, more meaningful outcome. This is definitely something.
Yeah, and I think that's what the platforms allow, right? You're able to analyze the data much more easily when you've got the right platforms in place.
Yes, exactly. We first needed to build the foundation, and now, as Susanne already said, we can build upon it and just leverage it and scale it. Yeah.
Amazing. Susanne, anything to add?
A shift from, we put a lot into the culture and doing the transition, also the whole approach with the markets changed, and we are able to help out now much better. And at this point, we can start more sharing best practices and really, like Maren said, with the data behind it, and not only, make assumptions, say this worked there, well, let's try this, but also A/B testing, have it out there and just really, very quick, try something. Does it work? Okay, let's keep it like that. Doesn't work? Okay, next one, and have a faster pace of accelerating the entire experience.
Yeah, I think that's what the technologies of today help us do a lot better. You can pull in best in breed technologies and make sure that you've got the right ecosystem that lets you test and learn and fail sometimes fast, so that you can move forward and move on to the next thing. And I think that's what I've certainly picked up listening to other people at the show this week. It's been really interesting. One last question before I let you ladies get off and enjoy the rest of the show. When it comes to other people implementing a kind of digital transformation strategy, a bit like you guys have been on over the past few years, implementing new technologies, do you have any advice for them?
I think just don't make it overly complicated. In the end, I think most of the time, it's actually rather, I don't want to say, easy. You just have the tendency to make things complicated. And as long as we have a crystal clear goal and also communicate it very, very clearly, it can be easier than it, might seem.
Yeah, so true. Amazing. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you so much for hosting.
So if you enjoyed this interview and you want to come and meet me and some of these amazing retail leaders at Shoptalk yourself, you've got two, not just one, two opportunities to do that. First up, we are going to be with Shoptalk again at Shoptalk Lux in Abu Dhabi from the 27th to the 29th of January. Just Google Shoptalk Lux and you should find it, and you can go and register to come and join us. And also, we are going to be back in Barcelona, possibly one of my favourite cities in the world, on the 9th to the 11th of June 2026. So be there or miss out.